What it is, what it do. I'm A1, this is Destiny, and up to this point I've explained how to solo the entire Crota's in hard mode raid except for the Deathsinger and Crota. So in this video we're going to be soloing the hard mode Deathsinger with each of the classes, and I'm not going to show what you have to do after you kill the Deathsinger because it takes a while to take out the rest of the enemies, so I'm only going to be focusing on the part where you have to kill the Deathsinger, and I'm going to show that part with each of the characters, the first of which is the Titan. Alright, so if you see my Deathsinger on normal mode, then you'll notice that we're practically doing the same method with a couple minor differences. Now with this particular method that I used with the Titan, we're not going to be using any cheeses or anything. We're just going to be running through the hard mode Deathsinger legit, for the most part. Obviously, if you have a Gallahorn, use it. If you don't, all that means is that you're going to have to use more ammo. That's it. Anyways, as for the gameplay, the first thing you want to do when you enter the room is go to the left, head up the stairs, go inside, and then you're going to want to shoot the wizard as soon as it goes through the glass. After it goes through the glass, you're going to want to shoot a couple rocket launchers at it, and after you killed the first wizard, you want to go ahead and keep jumping up in the air to avoid enemies on the ground hitting you until the Shrieker appears, and when the Shrieker appears, you want to shoot that with the rocket launcher. Obviously, after you blow up the first Shrieker, you want to exit that room immediately and head over to the other side. Now, if you have enough rockets, you can use the same exact method on the other side. Just shoot your rockets as soon as the wizard comes through the glass, and then save a rocket for the Shrieker as soon as it appears. Now, one way to make sure you have enough rockets is to use your heavy ammo synthesis and then wait about 4.5 minutes before you run in there and start the Deathsinger part. That way you can use all of your rockets from your first synth, and you won't have to waste any time waiting for your next synth. So I would definitely recommend using your synth, then waiting a couple minutes before you start the Deathsinger part. That way you'll know you'll have enough heavy ammo to take out all of the wizards, Shriekers, and the Deathsinger. Now when it comes to killing the Deathsinger with the Titan, I chose to put the bubble where I did because it prevents all the enemies on that side from being able to shoot me. So when I'm taking out the Deathsinger, the only enemies that can hurt me are the enemies on the other side, but if you move left and right while you're shooting at the Deathsinger, you should be able to avoid their bullets. And out of all the three methods I'm going to show in this video, the method I use right here with the Titan is probably the hardest method. Now if you're on the Warlock, there's a couple things you can do to make hard mode Deathsinger a little easier. If you're on the Sunsinger, you're going to want to use your solar grenades. If you're on the Voidwalker, you're going to want to use your vortex grenades. And all you have to do is walk up to where the summoning crystal is, or at least the bottom part of the summoning crystal. Look up and you'll see both the wizard on the left and the right side. And if you throw your solar or vortex grenade at each of those wizards, you'll end up drawing both of them out without having to go inside. Now it does seem like it takes about a minute for the wizards to come out. And obviously before you run out, you want to use a heavy ammo synthesis. And if you really want to make things easier, you might as well go ahead and wait about 4.5 minutes before you run out there. That way you'll be able to use another heavy ammo synthesis after you run out of heavy ammo. But you definitely want to be a little bit careful when you're using this method, because like I mentioned, the wizards will already be out, so they'll start shooting at you as soon as they see you. And you also want to keep an eye out on the enemies behind you, because you can get shot from behind as well. And just like the last method, after you blow up the first Shrieker, you want to go ahead and exit the room immediately, because purple jizz, that's why. And as soon as you exit the room, you want to go ahead and head over to the other side and do the same thing over again. Just remember that if you drew out the wizards, that the wizard on the other side is going to be out and waiting for you. So if you have rockets at this point, go ahead and finish her off. And if you don't, you can just jump down there in the ogre room, which is the room below the balcony on the right side. You just jump in there, use a heavy ammo synthesis, take out the wizard, and then take out the Shrieker. Now like I mentioned earlier, you can do this with either the Voidwalker or the Sunsinger. In my opinion, I think the Voidwalker will probably be better, because if you use your super ability, you can take out some of those trash mob enemies that are going to be shooting at you. That way you'll have more time to focus your attention on the Deathsinger and not have to worry about being shot while doing it. But like I said, you should be able to solo hard mode Deathsinger with either class. Anyways, for this method, we're not going to be jumping in there with the Deathsinger. We're going to be taking her out from far away and using the black hammer to do it. And I don't believe you necessarily need the black hammer. You can probably also use the icebreaker or any decent sniper rifle for that matter. You just want to make sure that you're going for headshots. And if you have the quick reload perk, I would suggest using that as well. Anyways, that's pretty much it for my second method for completing the Deathsinger on hard mode. Again, this one's only meant for the Warlocks. And the last method we're going to do is with the Hunter, and this one can be used with either the Hunter or the Titan. Not recommended for the Warlock because the Warlock doesn't need it. And for this method, we're going to draw the wizards out. So obviously the Hunter and the Titan don't have the solar grenades or the vortex grenades, but you're still able to draw the wizards out. But in order to do so, you're going to have the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher. And basically what the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher does is that it leaves a solar flare upon detonation, which is basically the same thing as a Sunsinger solar grenade. And if you shoot one rocket at each of the wizards, it'll end up drawing them out without you having to go in there and getting them. So in this playthrough, I only had one Dragon's Breath rocket launcher, and I wasn't going to waste a heavy synth just for one more rocket launcher. So I decided to use that Dragon's Breath rocket launcher on the wizard that was on the right side, and that's just because that's the way I prefer to do it. I'm pretty sure you could draw out the wizard on the left side as well and still be able to complete it. But like I said, I only had one rocket launcher and I had to choose one, so I chose the one on the right. Now I'm pretty sure you can solo with either the Gunslinger or the Blade Dancer, but I chose to use the Blade Dancer because if you use your super ability, you can get across the map faster. So what I did was, after I killed the first wizard and blew up the first Shrieker, I used my super and then I jumped in the air and meleeed myself across the room. And like I mentioned, it's probably not needed, but it does feel like it gets you to the other side a lot quicker. Anyways, if you use the Dragon's Breath rocket launcher to draw the wizard out, then remember that it's going to already be outside and waiting for you when you get to the other side. If you still have rocket launchers, then make sure you use them on the wizard. If you don't, then just hide in the ogre room and use another heavy ammo synthesis, and you should be able to take out the wizard and the Shrieker rather easily. Now one thing that I like to do after I blow up the Shrieker and avoid the purple Jizz, when I run back in there, the first thing I like to do is to shoot a rocket launcher in the room that I'm in, and also shoot a rocket launcher in the hallway that leads up to the Deathsinger. And the reason I like to do that is because there's a lot of trash mob enemies in there that'll shoot at you, and if you have a lot of them shooting at you for too long, you're going to end up dying. So I prefer to clear out the room a little bit. Shooting a couple rocket launchers in there doesn't really kill the knights, but it does take out the weaker enemies, and that prevents you from getting shot at. And again, once you've taken out those weak enemies in that room, all you have to do is focus all of your attention on the Deathsinger. You can shoot your remaining rockets at it, or you can try to snipe it. Like I said, I prefer using my sniper rifle, and to be specific, the Black Hammer sniper rifle. And for those who are wondering, I did do this at level 32, because as we all know, the level cap's going to be raised in a couple of weeks. But if you use any of the methods in this video, you should be able to solo this part at level 32. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video or found it useful, don't forget to do what you do. I'm A1, thanks for watching.